Hey, everybody, it's Karyl Morris from the Image Impact Group and your host here at the Visibility Sessions, the franchise edition. And we have with us today Jennifer Keahl from StretchLabs. Jennifer, welcome.
You. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I am fascinated by your story because you come from corporate, but now you are in the what do I want to say? You are in the fitness realm of things. And I would love, first of all, I would love for you to introduce yourself to everybody, and then we're gonna dive down into this story and give people some kind of peel back the layers and give them some good insight into what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you for having me. Thanks for reaching out
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. Um, I spent 20 years of my career in medical device repair business. Most recently, I was the vice president of quality. I had a variety of other roles in that organization before really essentially landing in quality. So I focused a lot in the operation space, kind of the back of the house.
Yeah.
And after 20 years, the company was sold. So we were owned by private equity. The company was sold to a large corporation. And, a lot changed at that point. We went from being a very small, scrappy organization, very nimble, to being, under a corporate umbrella. And, there were duplicate roles, which we had expected.
Sure.
So I began thinking about what I wanted to do with the rest of my career and
Yeah.
kind of made my way into the franchising world.
Oh my gosh. So what made you choose Stretch Lab over other opportunities? And quick question for you too. Did you go through a franchise consultant or did you do research on your own and then reach out?
Yeah, I did. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to do, one thing led to another, and I got introduced to a franchise consultant. I was really looking in kind of the business operations, ownership
Mhm.
space, and I met with a franchise consultant, and I really didn't know much about franchising. My experiences with franchising was really like Taco Bell and McDonald's.
Okay.
So it really was eye opening.
Yeah.
And how I got introduced to StretchLab was I met with him and went through a process where he asked me a lot of questions, kind of this discovery process to learn about me and what my interests were and what I was hoping to do. And kind of through this algorithm, he spit out four options for me to research. And so I went through the process and met with the particular representatives from these four franchises. Four franchises I had never heard of, by the way.
Yeah.
And I had a great experience. And I eventually landed on Stretch Lab because I stretch all the time.
Okay.
It had never even occurred to me that people do not stretch, and not in a negative way, but just because I am literally stretching all the time. And I realized that stretching is not only important for fitness and wellness, but really for your independence. As you
Mm.
age or as your body becomes more sedentary, you are losing some of that independence. And I really saw this as a way of combining my love of fitness and wellness with, kind of a recovery or health type of
Yeah.
business. And that's how
I
I landed
I
on
love
Stress Lab.
that. Yeah, you know what? I really, really, really love that, and that is one of those kind of a mic drop moments, right? Because it is true, when you are unable to move your body freely, it limits you. It really does limit you. So now I've got to go make an appointment with Stretch Lab. So
I'd love to see you.
no, I love that. So out of curiosity, were the other franchises that you were introduced to, so you they whittled it down to 4 of them for you. Were they all in the same industry or totally different industries?
I actually whittled them down. So I went through the process of meeting with the reps, and one by one, I kind of just eliminated them based
Okay.
on just like my preference. And
Yeah.
they were all great franchises. They were all great businesses. It was just a matter of what was a good fit for me, for
Mhm.
my what I wanted to do. It boils down to, finances. It boils down to what I wanted to do. It boils down to what my experiences and background, what I thought I was capable of doing. And that's how I kind of whittled it down. And as I was, again, kind of researching Stretch Lab, I just really thought this is something I can really do.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I dove in.
I love that. So, for those of you watching that are not familiar with Stretch Lab, can you just kind of give an overview of what the company itself does? So, I know you own a studio, and your clients come in, what's happening once they're there?
We do one-on-one assisted stretching. So we gather information in advance. What are the unique needs and goals for the individuals coming into the studio? We
Mm,
want to know what areas are bothering them. What was that straw that broke the camel's back that's
yeah,
causing them to come in and seek help? And we want to know what they hope to achieve once they improve their flexibility or mobility. And it's that emotional tie. And
yeah.
we love hearing these goals and we love seeing people achieve those goals. So we build customized one-on-one assisted stretching. So you're working with we call them flexologists, one-on-one the entire time that you're in the studio, working to lengthen your muscles. We use a
Mm,
technique, the acronym is PNF, it's proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. And it's a fancy way of saying contract and release
okay.
when we're in the stretching process. We have a variety of recovery tools that we use as well, but ultimately, our goal is to help our clients achieve their goals.
Love it, love it, love it. So tell me a little bit, the studio obviously is where your people come, but does the studio play a bigger part in community? One thing that I hear time and time again from the franchising community, if you will, is that community is really what keeps franchising at the forefront and what really is such a foundational piece for things. So how does that play in with you in that actual studio?
It's a great question. And it is also one of the reasons why I selected StretchLab as well. So,
Yeah.
fortunately, in a franchise, one of the great benefits is that you have the access to a tried and true method. So you
Hmm.
have the what we call a playbook, and you have people who are helping you at the corporate level. And one of those ways is through community. So
Yeah.
even starting in the pre-sale process, we are encouraged, very strongly encouraged to get out there in the community and meet other vendors, other businesses, other organizations, to help cross promote and to just build a stronger business and stronger community. So we partner by doing pop-up events. It not only helps people learn about Stretch Lab, what we do,
Hmm.
but also positions us as somebody in the community. We support schools, we support nonprofit
Yeah.
organizations, and other local businesses. It's very important. It's a very core part of what we do.
I love that. And that I would imagine helps build that loyal fan base and the loyal customers. Tell me a little bit about how you are working with your clients and what are you doing to keep them always how do you make their experience client specific and customer experience oriented? Because there's the difference between customer service and customer experience.
Relationships. It is
Yeah.
100% relationships. So we build strong relationships. We know their names. We know the names of everybody who comes into our studio. We know their kids' names. We know their dogs' names. S- some people who come into the studio, it is their only hour of solace in the day. And some
Okay.
people, it's their only hour of human interaction in the day. And we ensure that we're treating every person who comes into the studio the way that they want to be treated.
Yeah.
Empathy and positive energy are two non-negotiable traits for every one of my employees. It's critical for that relationship building and building that trust.
I love that. How did you when you first started, kind of wanna walk backwards a little bit. When you first started, now you've got this concept, you're gonna do it, and you've gotta fill the seats, both with employees and
Yeah.
also with clients. How did you recruit? What was your tactic to increase your visibility? I mean, one thing that we know is that my job is a visibility consultant and strategist. So I understand how important it is to get outside your comfort zone and be in the spotlight. How did you do that? And what were the things that you think set your opportunity apart from maybe the competition?
We use some traditional methods, but ultimately if you're on Indeed or some other,
Yeah.
job search application, we're in a sea of thousands, hundreds of thousands of other jobs. So
Yeah.
you really need to position yourself as something as a unique concept and something that's going to attract the type of people who are going to be a good fit for you. You have to put yourself out there, no matter how scary it is. One
Yeah.
of the things that I really truly believe in is being authentic.
Mhm.
So sharing my story, sharing the story of Stretch Lab, and really bringing people on board, building that trust with individuals,
Yeah.
I think is really important. Treating people, I tell all my new hires, what is all my employees, what is truly important is that we have each other's backs. So my employees are number one. We always have each other's backs. We're a very small
Mhm.
organization, so when you need help, we will all rally around you, and when we need help, you're all going to rally around that individual.
Yeah.
And really, that's how it has. We've really found that to be successful. A lot of the individuals that we hire are pretty new in their career.
Mhm.
And I love that. I love being able to support people on their career journey, being a building block for them as they grow and learn. I don't call it a stepping stone. We're a building block for them as they,
Mhm.
move forward in their career. And I think it's great. I think that just putting yourself out there, being authentic, and building those strong relationships are critical.
I love that. It sounds like mentoring is something that's very important to you. Yeah. Tell
Yes,
me a
very
little
much
bit.
so.
Yeah, one of the things that also I find so intriguing about the franchise world is that when you come into it, I built my business from scratch, right? It's just me, myself, and I, and then whoever I bring into my world. In a franchise, what's cool about it is you're walking into somebody else's world and you have an opportunity to help build on that. What is the sense of community within Lab? How does that feel different from your corporate experience?
It definitely is different. So my experience, under corporate or under when we were owned by private equity, um, we were all marching to the beat of the same drum, and
Yeah.
so it was all one company. With us franchise, you're marching to kind of parallel beats, parallel drums,
Mhm.
and so you have a lot of people who have the similar goals, but you might get there differently, and you have that freedom and that flexibility as a business owner to maybe take a different path or do things a little bit differently, and maybe build on something to improve it. The
Mhm.
challenge is that you are still under the corporate or Exponential, which is our parent company, under our franchisors umbrella.
Mhm.
And so you have some limitations, and some of the things that you might, as a business owner, want to just, do, snap your fingers and do, you have some limitations.
Yeah.
And to an entrepreneur, it can be a little frustrating. But as a community, the franchisees, we work together very closely. I am in close contact with not only all of the Michigan owners. We
Mhm.
do a lot of events and share successes and help each other out, but also franchisees across the country. A lot of other owners, we reach out to each other for help, because we all believe that our success is dependent on every other studio's success.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, because at the core of it, it is one brand, and you've got
Yes.
different spokes of the wheel supporting that brand, right? And what's interesting, and I think people often forget about this, is that when you are part of a franchise, if we'll take McDonald's because everybody knows McDonald's, right? If you go to a McDonald's in Ohio and they did you wrong, you're kind of mad at the Ohio, or you're mad at the Michigan McDonald's too.
Yeah, and
Right? And
we
by the same token, if you had a phenomenal experience at the Stretch Lab in Brighton and now you're going to the Grosse Pointe one, you walk in with an assumption that it's going to be a great experience, right? So your bias is
completely
already
agree.
working in your favor. And I think that's a unique situation for franchising that doesn't necessarily happen other places. And again, from a visibility point of view, that is so incredibly what do I want to say, incredibly building, right? And in that community, the better you get along with everybody and the better you support each other, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
better the
We
reputation is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's extremely important for the franchisees to support each other. In Michigan, in particular, we have a lot of snowbirds.
Yeah.
So our snowbirds will travel to other states in the winter, and we want them to continue their care in another studio, and we want them to find that studio. So a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll reach out to those studios in the area that they're going to, and just letting them know, kind of white glove service them over to this
Yeah.
other studio and hope we get the same courtesy when they have snowbirds that are coming up to Michigan. It just, again, continues to build upon how much we
Yeah.
care about the clients.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love the I've heard you say words like concierge and white
Mhm.
glove, and I love that because it does make the experience so special for somebody that going back is not an option. It's just an
That's
assumption. You know,
right.
you're just of
That's right.
course you're going to go back. Why wouldn't you? And who's the best person to talk about your business than a happy client and customer, right?
Oh my gosh, you are so right about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me, I know we try and keep these to 20 minutes, and I'm fascinated by your entire story, so I'm having a hard time wrapping it up. But I wanted to
That's
ask you,
okay.
what would your advice be for somebody that is in corporate that's looking to head over to this entrepreneurial slash franchise world? What piece of advice would you give them?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to just follow your heart. Do what you want to do. It's
Mhm.
incredibly difficult. I will not sugarcoat it. And anybody who's opened their own business knows there is a lot to it. You're drinking from a fire hose and you're not going to get that instant gratification. It is hard work, but follow
Yeah.
your heart and do what you think you're going to enjoy doing. I think everything is hard. You just need to choose your hard, whether you're
Mhm.
going to go back into a corporate position, do something on your own, or something else entirely. Choose your heart and find
Yeah.
something that's going to make your heart happy.
Oh, I love that. I think that's a fantastic place to end this. So I appreciate you and I appreciate Jennifer you sharing your story. I am very, very intrigued by the whole Stretch Lab thing. So I'm gonna be
You. Thank
investigating
you.
it. And I love your journey from corporate to franchise and entrepreneurship with guardrails, as they say, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And what is the best way for people to get hold of you if they'd like to investigate StretchLab or connect with you here on LinkedIn?
So I am on LinkedIn, Jennifer Keahl, and I am also both of my studios. So I own the StretchLab Brighton and StretchLab Clarkston here in Michigan. You can find us by going to stretchlab.com/location/Brighton or Clarkston. And also just give our studio a call. We're on all of the social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. So follow us and stay tuned.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you again. Have a fantastic day. And until next time, everybody, we will see you soon. Bye bye.